Are you stressed because the holidays are coming up and your kitchen's a disaster? Let's work on that today. I recently went through that summit where a lot of people focused on organization for your home, including the kitchen. And I had some areas of my kitchen that I wanted to tidy up and get ready before you start doing all of the holiday baking and cooking and before everybody comes over. So I worked on my pantry, I worked on my baking cabinet. I'm just kind of taking 1 or 2 spaces at a time and working on things as I can. Let me show you what I've done today with the kitchen pantry and my baking cabinet. Hi, I'm Mary Katherine and welcome to my table. I'm so glad you're here today. We're going to do a little something different, but it all has to do with the kitchen and having things ready to cook and serve our families and friends easily. So we're going to work on pantry organization today. What I'm going to show you first is kind of what we need to do to lead up to getting our pantry organized. So I'm going to open mine up and show you what I have. I have these rolling drawers or rolling shelves with little sides on them. What you need to do first, if you want to get some organization for your pantry, you think maybe you're going to buy a few baskets or a few bins, things like that that are going to keep things better organized, you need to take a tape measure. And so I've got mine here. And what I'm going to do now, I'm going to move this basket out of the way, and we're going to measure the inside of the drawer, of the shelf unit. So we're going to measure from the inside of it in the front to the inside in the back, and then we'll do the same thing side to side. Because when you go and purchase things, you want to be sure they're going to fit. Okay, so that one is just under 20 inches. And then let's go side to side. And that is about 25 3/4 inches. And then don't forget about the last measurement. You want to be sure how much height you have. So you want to measure basically from the bottom of the drawer, and we can't let it go any taller than this. That is just under 9.5 inches. So when I purchase something, I really don't want it to be more than 9 inches tall. So what you will want to do to measure your pantry, just any of the spaces, just measure all of that inside the drawer, length, width, and then your depth. And then that lets you know what size containers are going to fit in the space better. Now, of course, you can buy round things. You can buy glass jars that are round. You can buy square things. If your space in your pantry is at a premium, you will probably want to do a lot of things that are square in shape. If you buy baskets or if you buy bins, squares or rectangles that go straight down as much as possible, because any angle in it is just going to make you lose some of the space. So this is a basket that I've had for a long time that I'll show you. You can see there's not a lot of an angle to it. It goes fairly straight down on the side. So I'm trying to get as much space used out of this basket as possible. That's the first order of business, is kind of measure the spaces that you're working with before you go shopping. And then next, I'll kind of take you on my shopping trip and we'll see what all we get to use to organize our pantry here. All right, this store has some really great bins. They have a large selection of a variety of things. So we're gonna go in today and do some shopping, see what they've got, see what's gonna match the measurements that we took for the pantry and our cabinets. So let's go shopping. Plus they have fall and Christmas stuff out. See, I could use this and put like all my small baking items like baking soda, baking powder, and whatnot, and put in the same cabinet with like my flour and sugar. And then if I need those, just pull a bin out, which makes it easy. This could actually work for canned goods, couldn't it? They're showing apples and drinks in it, and this is for the fridge, it says, but I could use it in pantry. But like, you know, put my canned goods rolled and then stack another stack on top and kind of make it more efficient in the pantry. I kind of like that. I think I'm going to try that. Just when I buy candies or whatever. Like either the Rolos for turtle cakes or or some candy or something for the grandkids. M&Ms, you know. Just get it out of the package, make it look nice. I think I'll get a couple of those. See, the square makes more sense because it's much more of a space saver. And don't discount Dollar Tree. Look at all this variety of different size jars, different shaped jars that you could get for helping to organize your pantry or your kitchen or whatever. These little jars, they're so cute. You can see the size of my hand. So they're not huge, but they have a little indentation on the back, so you can either have them standing up straight or you can lean them, like if you want to have it where you just open the front and have it displayed that way. But anyway, there are lots of good jars at Dollar Tree, and most of them have lids that screw on, so they're going to be a tight fit and keep whatever you have inside fresh. And they are $1.25. Isn't that great? All right, I've got all of our goodies that we went shopping for here. So I'm going to unbag them, and then we'll do a little prep work with those. So, you know, things that are going to be holding food directly, not in a package. We're going to kind of wash out those bins and make sure they're good and clean before we put food in them. So anyway, here I've got the clear bins. There's the longer flat bin, but it's kind of a divided section. I've got this set of smaller ones, and then also a little divided one here. And then these, you can see the picture that's in the little bins. We definitely are going to wash these out because I thought these would be cute to keep our grandkids' candy in. Do your grandkids have a section of the pantry too? I'm sure if you're a grandma or grandpa, they do. And these are the ones, they're going to be a pretty tight fit, but I measured. Remember, we measured. So hopefully they are going to fit height-wise in my pantry drawers or shelves that I pull out. So I've got 2 of these. And what you'll notice, for the most part, what I have done in this shopping trip is I haven't picked up everything that's just matchy-matchy. I don't necessarily need my pantry to look that way. I've gotten things that I think will be most useful. But if you want to mix and match and have different looks for the things that you use to organize, one thing I learned from that GOHQ, the Get Organized HQ Summit, was that if you just buy multiples of the same things, like for instance, I've got 3 of these little jars that I'm going to use for the candy. I've got 2 of these big jars that I picked up for something else. I've got 3 of these bins that are going to match. And so you can see they don't all have to be exactly alike, but then if you have sets of 2 or 3 that are alike and put them together, that's going to help your pantry have that more organized feel to it. So that's the second tip. The first one is to be sure to measure like we did. And then the second one is you don't have to match. But if you're going to use multiple designs, try to get things at least in sets of 2. You know, and one other thing that I learned from some of the other pantry organizers at the summit was to go ahead and buy more than you think you'll need. They said, go ahead and buy more. You always need more than you think you will. And you can always take back whatever you don't use. You know, if you end up with too many of one certain kind, just keep your receipt and take it back. I'm not sure if I've done that or not. Hopefully I'm not going to have to go back to the store. We'll see. But that's another tip that they gave that I thought was useful, especially if you have a really big pantry project. You know, you don't want to have to keep going back to the store and back to the store to finish the project. Because if you're like me, once you get in the middle of something, you just want to go ahead and complete it. So if you overbought, that's okay. You can return anything you want. I did give myself a budget for this. I really didn't want to spend more than $100 because you could really rack up a big bill and spend a lot of money, especially if you have a bigger pantry than mine. You saw in our shopping trip, most of this I got it at home. But if I had it to do over again, let me tell you what I would do. I would go to the Dollar Tree first. And it's funny because I really didn't even think of that. But, you know, these little cute glass jars that I found there at the Dollar Tree, they're similar to these. These are a little bit bigger from At Home, so I may need the different sizes. These jars are so inexpensive. I mean, they're all $1.25. They're not $1 anymore at the Dollar Tree, you know, because of inflation. But $1.25 gets you a really nice glass jar with a lid that screws on. So if I had it to do over, I think I would go to the Dollar Tree first, see what they've got, what all I could get there that I thought I could use, and then go somewhere else after that. Go to At Home or go to Target or Walmart or Costco or shop from Amazon, whatever you want to do. But if you can find something that you can use at the dollar store, at the Dollar Tree, it's probably going to be much cheaper there than it would be at any of those other places. So anyway, I've got 3 of these jars that we picked up at the Dollar Tree. So now that I've got everything unbagged, I'm going to go ahead and start washing things that I know are going to be holding food. Okay. Now these jars, let me show you these again while I'm drying it. These were from At Home, and they're a little more than the Dollar Tree, but these were $7.99. I didn't think that was bad. These are really good, heavy jars. They're a little bit bigger than those from the Dollar Tree, and they already have the little label. You know, you can write on it with like a chalk pen or something about whatever you're putting in there if you want to. So I thought they were super cute. So even though we found cheaper jars at Dollar Tree, I'm kind of glad I have a couple of these. And also, while I'm finishing up drying these, I'm going to open my baking cupboard and let you see it. I'm also working on this. That's one of those areas that for me is a little bit hard to take care of. Have some things in there that are different. Like, you know, I do have my canisters with my flour and sugar and brown sugar and whatnot. But then my parents actually downsized earlier this year, and so we went through everything in their home, and it was a wonderful thing. They were great about doing that, but there were a few little odds and ends left that I just didn't have the heart to get rid of. So I have some little odds and ends up there that I need to kind of figure out, and I just stuck them up there in the meantime, but they don't really go in that cabinet. So I'm going to kind of work on cleaning that out, and some of the food items up there I may use in some of these jars and bins as well. And I may reorganize and put them in the pantry instead. So we'll see. So I'll kind of be working on both areas. We'll see how it ends up, okay? So let me show you what I'm going to do. I intend to pull everything out of my pantry kind of one shelf at a time if I can. There will be some crossover, I'm sure. But I'm going to try not to get everything out and make it a total mess in my kitchen today. But I'm going to pull it out as best I can. And as I have certain things that I know I want to use in some of these bins, I'm just going to go ahead and place them in them. And then once I get one shelf out, you know, I'll kind of wipe down that shelf and make sure it's all clean and everything before we put things back and organize. So I'm just going to start pulling things out. Okay, y'all, let me stop right here and show you what I had done when we redid this kitchen after we moved in 2 or 3 years ago. And so what I did when these cabinets were installed, I went ahead and put this, it's not exactly contact paper, it's kind of like that puffy paper. And it's not sticky, but it does kind of have a back to it that you can see. And it just kind of helps it to stay in place good. And so I had lined all of these with this paper, and it's so easy to just wipe down. Really simple. So I love that I have that in there now when you're reorganizing and cleaning. It's great. I'm gonna take, I have some different packets that are used for breakfast sometimes. These are some hot cocoa packets. And here's some oatmeal packets. And I'm going to kind of move them all together. They were in different bins, and I'm like, it's all breakfast type stuff. So I think we can just put it all together like this. In this bin, what I had thought, since it's divided and the size of each section is a good size to hold just a regular canned good, I had thought I'm going to layer my canned goods down on the sides, and then I can stack them up if I need to with a second batch. So I'm going to grab cans and do that now. They're from a different shelf, but it'll work well. Change of plans, I think. Maybe we'll do breakfast in one of these bins. I think I may want this for canned goods too. I think I'm actually going to move the canned goods back. They were on this shelf before and I kind of liked them there. So now that we've got it empty, I think I'm going to move them back down. I'm also going to move my sauce packets down right there. I'm going to put some of our cute jars here together. Let's see. I think I'm going to separate the jars just because it's going to kind of feel more even to me that way. Okay, there's plenty of room on this top shelf. I'm excited about that. So we'll see if we need to use it for something else or not. But right now, that looks good. And the second shelf looks good. Right, and I had a couple other bins I was working on that I've got ready. I've got all my pasta, well, some of my pasta in one of these. And then I'm going to put some potatoes in this bin. I've got my sweet potatoes in this one, so I'll have two different potato bins. Some more pasta. So here's our top shelf. I love the way this one came out with the variety of jars, but yet it feels balanced with glass on either side. Just some snacky things, things just to grab in a hurry. Then I've got canned goods, and then different sauce packets or drink packets. Just some peanut butter. I don't have a tub to put the peanut butter in, but I think it's fine the way it is. Everything doesn't have to be matchy-matchy. And then I've got pasta, beans, and rice mostly on this shelf here. Like an extra jar of salad dressing and some breadcrumbs too. But anyway, most of my pasta, beans, and rice. Have y'all ever had these? I love these. They're ready-made. You just pop them in the microwave for a minute. And they're delicious. We serve it over rice, and we should have it for a simple dinner sometimes. Just kind of like a beans and rice kind of meal. You can see in the picture how they do it too. So, can you see it? There we go. I get these at Costco too, and they'll have them on sale every now and then. So that's another thing to add to your list. That's a great deal at Costco, just for a quick and simple meal. Honestly, when you just cook a cup of rice or something, and this packet, when it's on sale, I think is a little over $1. So the two of us can eat off of this one packet. It's 2 servings. So that meal is probably less than $2 when we eat it. You can't beat that. So anyway, that's that shelf. And then this is mostly grandkids' snacky stuff. Got their pouches, got their fruit gummies, some granola bars, some different candies that they like to eat. And then I've got a breakfast box here with like some oatmeal and grits and hot cocoa. And then just bread and tortillas behind that. Sweet potatoes, white potatoes, those are russet potatoes. And then just some extra boxes of crackers and cookies and things that aren't in bins right now. So that's my pantry. I'm really happy with how it looks. So now the trick will be to keep it that way, right? And there are a few things, you know, that you find along the way when you're cleaning out a pantry that those things were expired. So I'm going to just get rid of those. But anyway, that's all the food that we have in our pantry right now. So the next part is to kind of tidy up that baking cabinet over there. So let's get going on that. I have all the shelves cleaned out, and so now I'm starting to put things back in. I want to show you a little tip. If you don't have pretty labels to go on all the different things that you want to, all the containers you have that you want to keep things in, let me show you what you can do. This was something I learned from somebody else in the summit, and I thought this was brilliant. It's just a quick solution. Okay, I've got self-rising flour here. So I'm going to put it in this, and this bag is almost empty, so it's not going to fill this up at all, but when it's a new bag, it's the perfect size for this, so I know I want to use it. But I want to just show you what I'm going to do. Okay, so we've got all our flour out, even though it doesn't fill it up very much. So if you want to know what it is, because as you can see, I already have another container with flour. This is my plain all-purpose flour, but this is going to be my self-rising flour, and of course we don't want to get those mixed up. So here's your tip. What you can do, just cut off the label of what it is. And then since this is not going to look that pretty like a cute label would, until you get labels, or if you never want to get labels, if you just want to have the empty look on the front, then just go back and tape this to the back of your container. And so here, get that piece of paper off. So I've got it here. Straighten it up a little bit now that I've got it off. I don't know about you, but that would bug me if it's all crooked. One more little. Okay, that's pretty straight. And then I'm just going to tape it to what will be the back of the container. So I'll put my lid on. And of course, when it's full, you won't even see this from the front at all. But just like that, you can see what it is. And then when I turn it around, it'll just have the clear look like that. And so that's a tip. If you don't have fancy labels, if you don't want to go out and buy them right now, just put the label on the back. And another thing that you can also tape and put on the back, if you want to keep something like, see, I've got rice in this container, and I actually have a label on it, which has not worked very well. It's not staying on very well. But if you don't remember how to cook your rice, if you don't remember the ratio of the water and everything, or whatever it is you're keeping in a container, just cut off the directions from the packaging and put it on the back side, and nobody will ever see it from the front, and then you'll know how to cook it every time. All right, baking cabinet is done, and it's so much better. So here we go. You see, everything is orderly and easy to access. And then remember the tips about putting labels on the back. if you need to, or directions for how to cook something. Do that on the back. I did that again with my, these are my grits. And so I've got them in a jar, but I've got the label on the back that gives me the directions. So just remember those tips, that'll make it easy. And then these things are just easy to grab, and it's so much cleaner than it was. And I ended up with an empty shelf at the top, which is great because it's really about too tall to use anyway. I mean, I have to get a stool to use it. So it's kind of nice that I don't even have anything on it now. But if I need to, I can. So that's the baking cabinet. So I've got it all ready for the holidays. So that's wonderful. And then let's look at the pantry. And here we go. The pantry is all organized. You can see I've got my potato bins down here and a few extra boxes of crackers or cookies that are not in bins. This is the grandkids' shelf for the most part. I've got some of their pouches, their snacks, their candies they like. I do have a breakfast bin here for us, and then just bread and tortillas. And then this is mostly pastas or beans that I've got on this shelf, all organized where I can see what everything is. That's the main point of organization. Of course, we like it to look pretty, but we really want to know where everything is. Here's my canned goods. This is this little the little packet holder back here where I can kind of see quick and easy what packets I have. And then the top shelf, we've got our cookie jars. Got popcorn here, sunflower seeds, a variety of nuts, some cranberries, things I use pretty often, or snacks. You know, these are Darren's favorite cookies, those Velvetas. So we keep those handy, and that's the rest of the pantry cabinet, all clean and organized. So it feels good to have that all done. One tip I would say, just right here at the end, is don't overwhelm yourself. You know, if you have a lot to do before the holidays and you can't get everything in order, that's okay. Just pick one thing that you can do at a time and just do what you can. If all you can do is one shelf today, just do one shelf today. If all you can do is one cabinet, do one cabinet. Don't try to do your whole kitchen. I'm not trying to do mine all at one time, that's for sure. So I'm just getting some of the essential areas. To me, the pantry and the baking cabinet were the biggest things before the holidays, so I've got those done. And now if I go back and do any others, that's great. But just kind of use those tips. You know, like I said, about buying things in multiples. They don't all have to match, but if you buy at least two of the same thing, then it just feels like it has order to it. You see, I've got 2 of these jars, I've got 3 of those, I've got multiples of these bins, so it just kind of all looks like it goes together. And then put your labels on the back. You know, if you don't have pretty labels for the front. And anyway, those are some of the tips that I would say will really help you out. So thank you so much for joining me today at Mary Catherine's table. I know this one was a little bit different. We didn't cook anything, but we got our kitchen ready to be able to cook a lot during the holidays. So that's important too. So anyway, if you like this kind of content and you like the recipes that we usually post, hit the subscribe button. And remember to go out today and find somebody who needs a little bit of kindness and give them some of yours.